That moment, right when you wake up, before your feet even hit the floor, you notice it. Your mouth feels thick. Your tongue feels coated. There's a dryness at the back of your throat that makes you immediately reach for water. And you probably think it's nothing. But what if that dryness every single morning is your body trying to tell you something much more important, something that most people miss for years, including one cause that has absolutely nothing to do with your mouth at all. Most people roll over, grab that glass of water, and move on without ever asking why. By the end of this video, you're going to understand that morning dry mouth is not a small thing. It's a messenger. And I'm going to show you exactly what it's been trying to tell you. If this lands with you, subscribe to The Healthy Habit right now and turn on your notifications. This is where we talk about the small daily signals your body sends, the ones most people miss, and what they actually mean. Let's go. I'm Dr. Gerald Mark, and I've spent years helping patients understand that the symptoms they've been dismissing as normal aging are actually the earliest warning signs of conditions they could have caught far earlier. After age 60, your salivary glands produce roughly 30 to 40% less saliva than they did in your 40s. That's just aging. But when that natural decline combines with something else, dry mouth becomes a signal. Research shows nearly 1 in 3 adults over 60 experience chronic morning dry mouth, and in the overwhelming majority of cases, it has absolutely nothing to do with how much water you drink before bed. I think of a woman I worked with, Rosalind, who woke with dry mouth for nearly 2 years. Every morning, she'd rinse her mouth, make her coffee, sit at the kitchen table, and assume it was just getting older. She had no idea what it was actually telling her. Your mouth depends on saliva, not just water, but a sophisticated fluid carrying enzymes and protective proteins that defend your teeth, your gums, your throat, and your immune system. Think of it like a river that's been flowing steadily for decades, suddenly running lower. The riverbed itself is still there, but everything that depended on that constant flow has to adapt to less protection. When your saliva production falls significantly, especially overnight when you're not drinking and not speaking, your mouth dries out completely. And here's what's important. That dryness is trying to tell you something. Right now, in this exact moment, your mouth is doing what it was designed to do. It's sending you a signal that something underneath needs attention. Rosalind was 68, retired. Sharp as they come, she did the crossword every morning before anything else. She exercised, ate reasonably well, took her medications as prescribed. For nearly 2 years, she woke with dry mouth. But Rosalind believed in resilience. She believed that small discomforts were simply the price of getting older, things you endured quietly without complaint. She believed her body was working fine, just differently than it used to. So every morning, she noticed the dryness and decided it meant nothing that required her attention. Then at her annual checkup, I asked, "Is this new?" When we dug deeper, nighttime bathroom trips, afternoon fatigue, everything shifted. She had been living with warning signs for 2 years without understanding they were connected to each other. That's when we knew we needed to look deeper. Here's what you need to understand about morning dry mouth. It's almost never just dry mouth. It's a visible signal of something happening underneath. And I'm going to walk you through the causes I see most frequently, starting with the ones that are most easily fixed and building toward the one that concerns me most. The first one is something you're probably doing right now without realizing it. Mouth breathing at night. Most people think it's just a habit, but it's almost always a symptom of something else, usually nasal congestion or sleep apnea. Untreated sleep apnea carries a 60% increased risk of stroke. If you snore or stop breathing at night, that conversation with your doctor is non-negotiable. The second cause is the one I see most consistently, and it's a mistake almost everyone makes. You assume the fix for morning dry mouth is simple. Drink more water before bed. So you do exactly that. You finish a large glass right before you turn off the light. You wake up just as dry as before, sometimes even more frustrated because you did everything right and nothing changed. Here's why that doesn't work. Your body doesn't hydrate in real time. Adults over 60 who didn't drink adequately between noon and 4 p.m. were 62% more likely to experience dry mouth overnight. Front load your hydration earlier. Add sea salt and lemon to support electrolyte balance. The third cause is something almost nobody connects to dry mouth, but the link is real. Your salivary glands are metabolically active tissues. They require specific nutrients to function properly at the cellular level. 2 deficiencies tear through salivary gland function in adults over 60 faster than almost anything else: vitamin A and the B vitamins, specifically B12. Vitamin A maintains the health of every mucous membrane in your body, your mouth, your throat, your nasal passages, your digestive tract. Adults with low vitamin A showed 41% reduction in saliva production. B12 absorption drops significantly after 60 up to 30% of older adults have inadequate levels. Supplement with a B complex containing at least 1,000 micrograms of B12 in methylcobalamin form. The fourth cause is one that catches almost everyone off guard. Sjogren's syndrome is an autoimmune disorder in which your immune system mistakenly targets your body's own moisture-producing glands, primarily your salivary glands and tear glands. It affects 4 million Americans, but the average patient waits nearly 3 years for diagnosis. Why? Because each symptom gets treated in isolation. The dry mouth gets dismissed as aging. The dry eyes get attributed to allergies. The joint pain gets labeled as arthritis. No single doctor connects the dots, and the underlying autoimmune process continues unchecked the entire time. If your dry mouth comes with dry, gritty eyes, especially if you're a woman over 60, ask your doctor specifically about Sjogren's syndrome by name. A blood test measuring anti-SSA and anti-SSB antibodies can identify it. The fifth cause is the one that made me pause with Rosalind. If you're waking with dry mouth and you're also getting up to urinate more than once during the night, that pairing is a clinical warning flag I do not ignore. Together, they're among the earliest signs of uncontrolled blood sugar or undiagnosed type 2 diabetes. When blood sugar climbs, your kidneys pull water from your tissues. That internal fluid loss dehydrates you from the inside out. 63% of newly diagnosed diabetics reported morning dry mouth, most for over a year before diagnosis. When I asked Rosalind about her nighttime bathroom trips, that's when everything connected. Her fasting glucose came back at 148. She had type 2 diabetes and didn't know it. Within 4 months of dietary changes and supplementation, her glucose normalized. She told me, "I sleep through the night now. My mouth feels normal. I didn't realize how much energy I was spending managing something I thought was inevitable." That's exactly what catching something early looks like. I want to pause here. Which of these 5 causes just made you think that might be me? Drop it in the comments right now. I read every single comment personally, and your answer helps someone else watching realize they're not alone. The sixth cause is one that's almost certainly sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. Over 500 commonly prescribed medications list dry mouth as a side effect. For adults taking 5 or more prescriptions, the cumulative impact is profound. But here's what's truly dangerous. Anticholinergic burden, the cumulative neurological effect of multiple medications blocking acetylcholine, a key neurotransmitter governing memory and attention. High anticholinergic burden is linked to accelerated cognitive decline and elevated dementia risk. The dry mouth is the visible signal of something happening much deeper in your brain. I had a retired man in his mid-70s, a careful man who kept meticulous records of everything, including his health, describe waking every morning feeling like he'd swallowed chalk. He'd been on the same medication combination for years. No single prescribing doctor had ever reviewed the full list together. A medication reconciliation identified 2 drugs with overlapping anticholinergic effects, both with safer alternatives. We made 2 substitutions. Within weeks, he noticed the difference. Within 2 months, he told me, "I wake up feeling like a normal person again, and my thinking feels sharper than it has in years." That was not coincidence. That was his brain recovering from a burden he didn't even know he was carrying. But the truth is, medications are not the only way your brain's delicate chemistry can be disrupted by something you're not even aware is happening. Because there's another system in your body, one that governs far more than just saliva, and when it starts to fail, dry mouth is often the first message it sends. The 7th cause, and this concerns me most. Persistent morning dry mouth can be an early neurological warning sign of Parkinson's disease, or Lewy body dementia. These autonomic nervous system changes appear 4 to 6 years before classical motor symptoms, giving you a window to act while neuroprotection is still possible. I had another patient, Robert, a methodical man who noticed everything but rarely spoke up about small things. He mentioned persistent dry mouth across several visits. We worked through the obvious explanations, medications, sleep position, hydration. Nothing fully resolved it. Then during one appointment, his wife mentioned almost in passing that he'd stopped recognizing the smell of his morning coffee. He had noticed it too, but said nothing, assuming it was unrelated. That loss of smell, combined with dry mouth, is a neurological pattern I needed to see. I referred him to a neurologist. Imaging confirmed early Parkinson's disease. He was shaken. But because we found it early, he was able to begin neuroprotective therapy and build a care plan well before significant motor symptoms developed. 3 years later, his quality of life remains genuinely good. He told me at a recent visit, "I almost didn't mention the dry mouth. I thought it was too small to bring up." Nothing is too small to bring up. Working with patients on exactly this issue, I've put together something I call the morning signal system, and I want to give it to you right now, because I believe it's the clearest and most practical way to take everything we've just covered and turn it into something you can actually live every day. It works like this. First, observe what's actually happening, not just the dry mouth, but everything that comes with it. Second, connect the dots. Is the dry mouth happening alongside other symptoms? Nighttime bathroom trips, dry eyes, afternoon fatigue, changed sense of smell. Third, ask the right questions. Questions that point your doctor toward the actual cause, not just the symptom. And fourth, take action on what you can control tonight, while you're pursuing answers on what needs professional evaluation. That's the system. Observe, connect, ask, act. Here's exactly what I want you to do, starting tonight, and then this week. Tonight, run a humidifier in your bedroom at 40 to 50% humidity. If you breathe through your mouth, apply a nasal strip before you get into bed. Both of these are changes that take 30 seconds and can make a difference by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, adjust your hydration rhythm. If you've been drinking most of your water in the evening, shift that pattern. Front-load your water intake into the afternoon 6 to 8 ounces, with meals and snacks between noon and 4 p.m. Add a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon to your afternoon water. This supports electrolyte balance and helps your cells actually hold onto the fluid you're consuming. This week, write down every medication you take, every prescription, every over-the-counter medication, every supplement. Bring that list to your doctor and ask directly, do any of these suppress saliva production? And is there a safer alternative with fewer anticholinergic effects? Your doctor needs this information to help you properly. You're not questioning their judgment. You're giving them complete information so they can make the best decision for you. This week, look at your afternoon nutrition. Are you getting adequate vitamin A? Dark leafy greens, sweet potatoes, eggs. Are you getting adequate B12? Lean meats, fish, dairy. If not, add a B-complex supplement with at least 1,000 micrograms of B12 in methylcobalamin form. Before your next doctor's appointment, write down 3 things. Do I snore? Do I wake at night to urinate more than once? Are my eyes unusually dry? Bring these questions with you. If any of these apply to you, mention them specifically at the beginning of your visit. Don't mention them as an afterthought while you're leaving. Bring them up first. This information might change what your doctor investigates, and that investigation could change everything. Mouth breathing may signal sleep apnea, which carries real stroke risk, so notice if you snore and bring it up with your doctor. Afternoon hydration matters more than nighttime water, which means shifting when you drink is the fix that works. Vitamin A and B12 deficiencies directly suppress saliva, which is why what you eat this week actually changes how you wake up tomorrow. Sjogren's syndrome is underdiagnosed because each symptom is treated separately, which means you asking for the antibody test by name is how you finally get answers. Morning dry mouth with nighttime bathroom trips is your body's way of signaling uncontrolled blood sugar before diabetes fully develops, and Rosalind's story proves that catching it early changes everything. Anticholinergic medication burden is silently affecting your brain while creating dry mouth as the visible warning, which is why that medication conversation with your doctor matters more than you probably realize. And persistent dry mouth can signal early Parkinson's appearing 4 to 6 years before diagnosis, giving you time to act, exactly as Robert discovered. Rosalind is now managing her blood sugar. She sleeps through the night. She has real energy again. None of that happens if she keeps dismissing that signal. You're at the same crossroads she was at, but you're asking the question she took 2 years to ask. That dry mouth every morning isn't something to live with, it's something to understand. Which cause made you think that might be me? Drop it in the comments. Your answer helps someone else realize they're not alone. I want you to do something specific this week. Share this video with someone you care about. A spouse, a friend, a family member. Someone who's mentioned waking up with dry mouth, or who you've noticed has been rubbing their dry eyes, or who you know is taking multiple medications. This information could be the piece that changes their entire trajectory. That's not overstating it. That's exactly what it could do. Subscribe to The Healthy Habit and turn on your notifications. This is where we talk about the signals your body's been sending that nobody else is explaining clearly. You deserve to understand your own body. The symptoms you've been ignoring are often the first and most honest conversations your body has with you. Learn to listen, and you'll catch things early enough to matter. I'm Dr. Gerald Mark. Make one small change today and I'll see you in the next one. Everything I have shared today is for general informational purposes only, based on published research and clinical observation. It is not a personal diagnosis, and it is not a substitute for care from your own doctor. Please consult your physician or a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your medications, diet, supplements, or health routine.